Mr. City Manager, City Attorney, ready to go?
I think so.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular commission meeting this June 2nd, 2026 of the Delray Beach City Commission. If the clerk could please call the roll.
Deputy Vice Mayor Marker.
Here.
Commissioner Malika.
Here.
Commissioner Casal.
Here.
Vice Mayor Burns.
Here.
Mayor Carney.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. If you could all rise, please, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. Thank you very much. Okay, we're looking for agenda approval. I understand that there's an item you're removing from the agenda?
Yes, sir. That would be item 7G, the nominations for the Delray Beach Housing Authority. There's some criteria reflection we need to get squared away, so we're looking to bring that back for the first meeting in July.
7G, is that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
7G, okay, got it. Are there any other additions, subtractions to the agenda? Hearing none, I need a motion to, I'm sorry.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is so adopted. The first is a presentation of the recognition of the Colony Hotel 100 years. And John, I know John Miller is here, but I have asked, I am supposed to be reading this proclamation, but Commissioner Malika insisted because of her long, close friendship with the owner of the hotel. So, Ms. Malika, would you
Thank
please
you
read the
very much.
proclamation?
Colony Hotel, celebrating 100 years, located at the heart of Atlantic Avenue. The Colony Hotel has stood witness to the evolution of Delray Beach. The hotel debuted as the Altrip Hotel in 1926 after a group of investors led by Albert T. Rep spent some $350,000 to finance its construction. Rep and his colleagues built such a magnificent structure due to Delray Beach's growth as a prestigious resort community during the Roaring '20s. Designed by architect Martin Luther Hampton, the Altrip Hotel was perhaps the greatest structure built within the city in the 1920s. Standing 3 stories tall, its brilliant Spanish colonial revival style architecture brilliantly commemorated the state's Hispanic heritage. The resort's gorgeous stucco walls and iconic domed towers made it incredibly unique when compared to many of its fellow local destinations. Despite its grand character, the Altrip Hotel struggled to generate business, and during the Great Depression, caused Rep to foreclose. Salvation arrived in 1935 when the newlyweds, George and Agnes Boughton, purchased the ailing resort for $50,000 and renamed it the Colony Hotel. Their stewardship saw the resort become Delray Beach's hottest attraction, with lavish interior details, including a Spanish galleon carved into the lobby mantel, terrazzo floors, wrought iron chandeliers, antique lamps, an Otis & Company elevator, and fixed reed wicker furniture, which still exists today. In 1948, George Boughton acquired another historic resort in Maine, rebranding it the Colony Hotel. In 1949, he developed the Cabana Club, featuring heated saltwater pool, private beach, tropical fauna, and complimentary cabanas. After George's death in 1986 and Agnes's in 1994, their daughter Justina Boughton and niece Hilary Roche assumed control. In 1999, the hotel joined the Historic Hotels of America, and in 2001, the Boughton family completed extensive renovations, adding air conditionings in hallways and preserving the historic character. All 70 guest rooms feature original furniture, tropic fabrics, hardwood floors, unique appointments, Florida artwork, and dreamy beds with organic cotton sheets. The Colony Cabana Club, 2 miles from the hotel, continues to offer a heated saltwater pool, beach cabanas, and spectacular ocean views for events and daily lunches. The Colony Hotel and Cabana Club is among Florida's most historic holiday destination, hailed as a timeless masterpiece and the best-known landmark in Delray Beach. Presented this second day of June 2026. Yay, we have a little something.
Yeah, do we want that? Do we want all of them? Do we all want a photo? No, let's just go. You go. You make the presentation. John, would you want to get up to the lectern and give your remarks?
This is, thank you everybody. This is Kaylee Howell, our archivist. She's going to help with the presentation here. We have the clicker.
There's one on the table there.
All right. There we go. All right. We're going to just take a few minutes. We'll rip through this pretty quick, but Kaylee was great enough to pull together a lot of historic information that's in our archives over there at the Historical Society, so we have a lot more. It was honestly hard to decide what not to put in. So obviously the numbers were a little fuzzy back then, $250,000, $300,000 for the hotel. Ended up being, I think, close to $500,000. But it was incorporated in 1924, and after Alfred T. Rep. Here we have an original stock certificate of the hotel, and there's still a bunch of these floating around. So this was a newspaper article from June 14th, 1925, and it talked about a building boom here in Delray. So there was a lot of things going on at that time. The colony is in the lower left there. And this was a close-up of that image, and it talked about the Altarep Hotel and what it was going to cost and how much it had from the rooms, if you want to.
Yes, and so Martin Luther Hampton, who is the architect who ultimately designed the hotel, was very well known mostly in the Miami area and the Coral Gables area. He designed many of the kind of historic structures that are still in Coral Gables. He's also sort of known for constructing and designing the Whitehall Hotel, which was the hotel addition on the back of Henry Flagler's mansion in Palm Beach, which was Whitehall. And so it was because of this building boom that was happening at the time and a lot of technological innovations that were happening in the 1920s. It was, fireproofed. You had automatic sprinklers. This was a very big deal. If you know anything about the history of hotels in Florida, a lot of them caught fire. So this was a very big deal. And so it included a ladies' parlor, a writing area, and so it had all the kind of hallmarks of a major resort at the time.
So these were some of the articles about the opening of the hotel, which was March 1st, 1926. So just about 100 years ago. Over here on the right was a menu of a couple of weeks later, but it included filet of sole, Virginia ham with champagne sauce, native fowl, not sure what that was, with cranberry sauce.
Like a pigeon.
Pigeon, Muscovy duck, prime rib, and then assorted side salads, desserts, after dinner mints, but no alcohol. This was during Prohibition.
Yes.
So I'm guessing there was some around, but it wasn't on the menu, and the cost was $2. So this is a close-up of the previous newspaper article, and that shows Alfred T. Rep right there in the upper left. So then these were a couple of historic postcards from when it was the Altarep.
And yes, and so Albert Rep, if I could talk today, it'd be a miracle. Albert Rep was a big part of, again, a part of the sort of, post-boom, the bubble bursting. And he was sort of a victim of that, especially in 1926. We had back-to-back hurricanes in 1926, which really brought on the kind of end to the land boom. And so this was a big sort of part of that. And in 1932, it was listed for sale. By a different trust company, and so the Casa del Rey was also a part of this kind of downturn in Del Rey's hotels at the time.
So,
But then in 1935, again, as as Commissioner Malika mentioned, we get kind of a savior comes in to Delray in the form of George and Agnes Boughton, and Charles Boughton as well, who was his father. And they really came in, purchased the Colony Hotel, and turned it around and created what we know today as the beloved Colony Hotel.
these are a couple of postcards when it switched over to the Colony in the early days. Really was a center of civic life here in Delray. So,
Yeah, it features in a number of photographs and oral histories and stories throughout kind of the Delray Beach community. A lot of people talk about either staying at the Colony, dining at the Colony, working at the Colony. Lots of people kind of talk about being just at the Colony and how important it was to them over time.
and then again in 1948, they opened up the sister hotel up in Kennebunkport. So these are just a couple of, I'm going to go back one. These are a couple of images, historic images of just how central it was to life in Delray at the time. That's an old Boy Scout troop with the fire truck, meetings, gatherings, social affairs, you name it. The Colony was at the center of it.
The Colony was also at the center of, of hurricane salvage as well, or you're helping during hurricanes. So it served as a hurricane shelter during at least we know the 1949 hurricane and likely other hurricanes as well.
So today, the Boughton family still owns it. And it is one of the most important examples of historic preservation, not just in Delray Beach, but all of South Florida. And the Colony Hotel and Command and Cub is a proud member of the National Trust for Historic Preservation, as well as Historic Hotels of America. So happy centennial, Colony Hotel.
Thank you very much. Really, and thank you for that. You're a great part of the city right there. And I've been going to it for years. I'm not going to say how long. Almost. I think I was at I could have been at the opening. I'm not positive, but anyway. But thank you both. Thank you both, Hillary. Thank you, and thank you, of course, Justine.
Could I just quickly say
Sure.
as well, thank you. This is so exciting, and I do appreciate, that you are the most important example of historic preservation. And every time I walk by the Colony, I have to stop and just stare because it's just amazingly beautiful. And I really want to thank Kaylee Howell, the archivist, for just preserving Delray's history for our future. Thank you so much. I've heard amazing things about you.
Great. Thank you all very much. All right, now we have a presentation for Gun Violence Awareness Day proclamation. John Harris, somewhere. There you are, John Harris. Okay. I'm going to be, presenting this to you, right? Yes, sir. Okay, well, there we go. Let me read the proclamation. Okay. Whereas this proclamation declares the first Friday in June to be the National Gun Violence Awareness Day in the city of Delray Beach, to honor and remember all victims and survivors of gun violence, and to declare that we as a country must do more to end public health crisis. Whereas every day, 130 people in the United States are killed by gun violence, and more than 200 are shot and wounded, with an average of more than 19,000 gun homicides every year. Whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from people with dangerous histories. And whereas in partnership with local violence intervention activists who are most familiar with the local criminal activity and how to address it, are best positioned to understand how to keep citizens safe. And whereas gun violence prevention is more important than ever as we see gun violence continue to impact communities across the country. Whereas in January 2013, Hadiya Pendleton was tragically shot and killed at the age of 15, and on June 5th, 2026, to recognize the 20th birthday of Hadiya Pendleton, people across the United States will recognize National Gun Violence Awareness Day and wear orange in tribute to the victims of gun violence and their loved ones. And whereas the idea was inspired by a group of Hadiya's friends who asked their classmates to commemorate her life by wearing orange, they chose this color because hunters wear orange to announce themselves to other hunters when out in the woods, and orange is a color that symbolizes the value of human life. And whereas by wearing orange on June 5th, 2026, people across the United States will raise awareness about gun violence and continue the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. Whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and to pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the hands of people who should not have access to them, and encourage responsible gun ownership to help our families and community, keep our families and communities safe. Now therefore, I, Thomas F. Carney Jr., Mayor of Delray Beach, Florida, on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby declare June 5th, 2026 to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day, and encourage all citizens to support their local community's efforts to prevent tragic effects of gun violence and to honor and value human life. Thank you. So, John, do you want to come up? And I will ensure myself that I wear orange on June.
Oh, thank you. No problem. Thank you.
There you go.
Appreciate
Here,
it.
let's get a picture.
Oh, sure.
No, right here.
Oh,
There you go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Okay, we are now at the portion of the meeting where we're going to have comments and inquiries on agenda and non-agenda items from the public. First, we have the city manager's response to inquiries and highlights.
Yes, sir, I have one item actually, and that is simply a reiteration of what we talked about during the meeting 2 weeks ago, and that is Palm Beach County initiated infrastructure improvements to the George Bush Boulevard Bridge. And there is some sense of hope, if you will, that this is to be accomplished before the Independence Day holiday because, of course, the robust presence and vehicular traffic anticipated during that time. So we are doing our best as a city to work closely with Palm Beach County to encourage an outcome to that effect. While that may be a possibility, we are still thinking of other arrangements logistically in preparation for the work to continue beyond the Independence Day holiday. So we're hopeful that that will be in fact accomplished by then, but in the event that that is not the case, we will be offering public information and other updates in terms of detours and other logistical arrangements that need to be made so that people can in fact enjoy the holiday season coming up.
Because as I recall, Atlantic Avenue is going to be closed.
Correct.
Correct.
So that means they're going to either have to come across Woolbright Road or Linton.
Or Linton.
Okay.
Linton, it would be the focus in that regard, and that's a good observation, Mr. Mayor,
But
because
don't
that's
we
part of the
close-
consideration.
Don't we close that section of A1A, though? How are people going to get to Linton?
We do, and that's part of logistics we need to
that'll be-
continue to work on. So additional information will be forthcoming as soon as assembled, but there is a collaborative dialogue with Palm Beach County to get to the absolute best place possible. So
Right, because that's not scheduled to actually conclude until the 20th of July. So the likelihood, based on the schedule, starting June 1st and going to July 20th,
Is there any chance they could just drop the bridge for one day and bring it back? I mean, I've seen them do it before. The bridges are in repair, but they
depends on, I think there's structural issues though, and
Oh,
I don't think
Correct.
it's going to be
Well, I'm not driving
possible.
over it, so-
So again, because it was initiated yesterday and the schedule that's having just been mentioned by Commissioner
Could you
Casal,
keep
you
us
mentioned,
informed as you go along as this, because this is,
This is important to us all.
yeah.
which is why I bring it up at this time. That is the direction, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you. Otherwise, I yield at this time.
Okay, very good. Are there any, you have any other comments? No? Then
not.
we are ready to hear from comments from the public. So let me read the rules briefly. Meeting is now open to public comment from anyone wishing to speak on any topic or agenda item other than a quasi-judicial item and a public hearing item. The public will have an opportunity to speak on quasi-judicial and public hearing items later in the meeting as those agenda items are called. For public comment, please sign in, state your name, and give your zip code for the record. You will each have 3 minutes. Please come to the lectern.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
How are you? My name is Patrick Lamb, 33480. I live in Palm Beach, and it's an honor to be here celebrating the colony. And I didn't know that I was going to be here during that day. I just want to add a quick little bit to that, which is going to tie into my presentation, and I'll try to keep it short because I know I got 3 minutes. So, during the nearly 2 decades, it has to do with Rob Russell. He's a dear friend of mine. During the 2 decades founding and running the Royal Room Cabaret at the Colony Hotel, starting in 2001, Rob Russell booked and performed with a wide range of Broadway, jazz, and Great American Songbook stars at the Colony. And this includes Steve Tyrell, Dave Foster, Regis, some of the largest people and on the planet in entertainment. And I guess where I'm going with that is that obviously you might be able to tell I'm pro-entertainment, and I think that entertainment and music adds a lot to the signature and definition of a community is the way it's perceived across the state, the earth, the planet. I mean, they said that the Royal Room was hailed as the best place for a cabaret on the planet. So anyway, just wanted to add that, celebrate the music that was added to that. So Mayor, Commissioners, a member of the council, it's been wonderful becoming part of this community. I'm a relatively new resident, me and my wife. And thank you for championing a few successful events that I've co-produced with your permission. From our Charlie Brown Christmas to the tribute to Earth, Wind and Fire, which had the largest turnout, one of the largest turnouts. Anyway, today I'd like to propose, I'll keep it short, I know my time's limited. I want to propose 2 new annual events and ask for your kind support. So both would be held at Old School Square. Both are designed to pull Delray Beach even more signatorily onto the map, if that's a word. I don't know, I invented it. The first would be Delray Tribute Festival, Thanksgiving weekend, November 27th, 28th. So if you can imagine my Earth, Wind and Fire tribute times 10. So we had I think we had close to 3,000 people there. So imagine that, except times, exponential, organized, and set up. So we'd have Billy Joel, Steely Dan, Prince, Queen, Journey, Earth, Wind and Fire. So that's the first event. I've already done the website and proposal for DDA, and you can see the website at delraytributefestival.com. It's already done. The second is Florida Jazz Festival. We have huge, massive jazz festival up, Seabreeze Jazz Festival, thousands of people. Anyway, thank you for your time. But I would love for you to consider that and having that here. I was looking at Boca, at the Misner amphitheater, but I have a particular community here, an affinity for working with you guys, so I'm hoping you guys will approve it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Could I just say your concert was lovely? I attended. Very good.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. I'm here about the property tax amendment the legislature gave final passage to. As you know, the House passed it 75 to 26, the Senate passed it 30 to 9, and now it goes before Florida voters in November, where it needs 60% to take effect. So this is no longer hypothetical, and I'm hoping the city is getting ready. The bill raises the homestead exemption from $150,000 in 2027 and to $250,000 in 2028 on everything but school taxes. Excuse me, with a framework towards full exemption over time. It also tightens the assessment cap on non-homestead property, commercial, rental, and second homes from 10% down to 5% a year. That second piece matters here. Using the state's 2024 tax roll compiled by the Florida League of Cities, homesteaded property is about 32% of Delray's taxable value, roughly $5.8 billion of an $18 billion base. Our median homestead home is assessed below $250,000, so most would owe little or no city property tax. At full exemption, the municipal revenue at risk is on the order of $34 million a year, close to a third of our property tax revenue, and property taxes are nearly 90% of the city's flexible dollars. And the commercial and rental base we'd lean on to backfill now grows more slowly under that 5% cap. None of this counts the CRA, where falling values could shrink the increment that funds redevelopment and its debt. The amendment guarantees no replacement revenue. So my questions are simple. Has staff modelled the impact at each phase, including the 5% cap on the CRA? And if voters approve this in November, what's the plan? Service reductions? Higher rates on commercial or rental property that's left? Sales tax? Assessments? I'm not here with the answers. I defer that to you, but I'm asking the city to share its analysis publicly and bring residents into this conversation early. So thank you for your time and for your service. In the few seconds I have left, I would like to add one more thing, if I may. The National Education Association, one of the largest trade unions in the country for representing educators, has just awarded Emmanuel Dupree Jackson the Dr. Martin Luther King Memorial Award because of his work with the EJS project. I'd like to give Dupree an enormous shout out for the incredible work that he does. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Good evening, Daniel Rose, 33444. I got a couple of things. I want to talk about agenda item 6B, the Vatican Tattoo Studios in Delray. I was actually on the CRA when they opened because it was brought up to us about our approval or consent. It's a small business, and I continue to support them. I think tattoos are art, and they become more mainstream in society, definitely in the last 10 years since they've been open. More specifically, major recording artists, athletes, entertainers. Oh. Can we reset the time?
It's a quasi-judicial item later in the agenda.
This is quasi-judicial. You have to come.
Tina Carter, you're amazing back there. Thank you, Anthea.
So I got to reset on that? I'll wait for it, no problem.
Yes, you have to.
Takes a village.
You got to reset.
Okay, because it said agenda and non-agenda items. That's where I get
Except
confused.
quasi-judicial and public
quasi-judicial. Okay.
things.
All right, I'm ready to go. Part 2.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry about that. I'm also in regards to the subculture situation. We're 60 days into this 90-day period. Apparently nothing's been done, and there's 30 more days. Okay. Despite a default letter being sent out for the in lieu parking that was due, the fourth payment or third payment was due in April. He got a default letter. May 20th, I was informed that almost $30,000 in lieu parking hasn't been paid. That's according to your financial department. Special events, despite the mayor getting yelled at March 31st meeting that this book fair was supposed to be in West Palm Beach and not Delray. It happened in Delray. In fact, they did another one on, I think it was May 9th, they did another book fair. And then on April 4th was the first book fair. April 26th, they did a pop-up jewelry flea market. So that's 3 events they've had since March 31st when they said we were not doing any more events. Parking, nothing changed. So Mr. McLaren moved all the box trucks because they were complaining about that. So they supposedly have 11 spaces. And for about 3 days, they did a video, hey, park, park, park. 3 days later, it's the same old. Yesterday, there were 4 cars parked in the no parking combined. Today, there was a Tesla that was backed into the no parking. So when you made a left turn, all you'd hear is people honking horns thinking someone was backing out. They were parked in the road. On Sunday, Albert's bike shop, 2 customers moved cones. I got pictures of everything and made it off-site parking. So nothing has changed. It's gotten worse. And then apparently the employees are still parking there. And then, it goes to their social media, just so you guys know, one of their followers, Michael, his name is, has, just so you guys know, talking in their dialect, that these city commissioners have public addresses and tires that aren't run flats. So the vitriol is directed at you because apparently rather than spend time, and they've got 30 more days, to start fixing the problem and come back in a month, I expect the same 30 kids to come again, scream and cry that they're being victimized, it's just me. And at the end of the day, they're threatening you guys. I mean, I would take a threat like that pretty seriously. Especially some of you that don't live in gated communities. It's wrong. So I have pictures here of all the pop-ups, some illegally parked cars. I'm tired of it. I'm just really tired of it. It's getting tired. Just so you know, my office was vandalized twice in the last 5 days, and good job by the police department. We have fingerprints. We suspect people, and hopefully there'll be arrests. But this is where we've gotten to. The doxing, the harassment, the false narrative that I'm the only person complaining. And then they take things that I say out of context to prove and just make some horrible allegations. And again, no one should have to deal with this. So I'm here because they got 30 more days. And if they come back in 30 days and nothing's done, it's an unpopular decision, but if you don't do something and put this to bed, every bad actor in this town is going to come back and bring this up again. Like, we've had issues with people doing things that we don't like, and they're going to come and say, well, hey, I get 90 days like Subculture did. So it's just time. It's enough. Please help us.
Thank you very much.
Good.
Yep.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Lisa Franklin. I'm here as the Executive Director of the Delray Beach Drug Task Force. I'm here on a non-agenda item. I was not able to make it to the presentation a couple weeks ago. This is about the opioid settlement dollars. As this commission considers how to allocate the opioid settlement funds, I'd like to emphasize that these dollars are not just ordinary grant funds, they're restitution, and they represent lives lost, families shattered, and a community, our community, that paid an unbearable price during the opioid epidemic. Because these funds are limited, they must be invested where they will have the greatest measurable, evidence-based impact. A few months ago, when the Delray Beach Opioid Committee tasked the Delray Beach Drug Task Force to come up with a plan, we convened our members and identified the most urgent service gaps in our community, prioritized those gaps, and recommended solutions to the opioid committee that are both practical and impactful. And through that process, we identified that the fire rescue paramedicine program is the first priority with the largest potential community impact. This program meets people where they are, quite literally. It reaches individuals who are overdosing, cycling through emergency services, living with untreated substance use disorder, or simply falling through the cracks between crisis response and long-term care. It creates a bridge between emergency response, treatment access, recovery support, and stabilization, and this is exactly the type of gap the opioid settlement dollars were intended to address. This program is currently operational in many jurisdictions across the country, and evidence shows there's a 4-to-1 return on investment. I understand the numbers presented during the presentation were shocking. They're shocking to all of us that heard them, but I also understand that they're going to be clarified next week during the presentation. I also want to be crystal clear and squash any rumors that we're not opposed to prevention. In fact, the Delray Beach Drug Task Force is the longest-standing prevention-based organization serving Delray Beach. Prevention is part of our mission, but school-based prevention is already adequately funded through appropriate channels. It's also limited to a specific subset of population. At the height of the opioid epidemic, the largest population dying and overdosing from opioids was Medicare recipients. That reminds us that this crisis does not belong to one age, one group, one school system, or one demographic. The settlement funds must respect the full scope of who was harmed. School-based prevention has value, but it cannot be the primary answer when the most immediate gaps involve overdose response, post-overdose follow-up, access to care, and support for adults and families already in crisis. I respectfully urge this commission to prioritize the paramedicine program as the most effective, immediate, and community-wide use of Delray Beach opioid settlement funds. These dollars should not simply fund good ideas. They should fund the most urgent needs, largest gaps, and solutions to save lives.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. I apologize in advance if this is quasi-judicial. Just cut me off.
Which the item you talking about?
I'm here regarding the DDA appointments.
No.
Good to go?
Yep, there are no
Wonderful.
DDA appointments tonight.
Okay,
but
it's next month if I'm not
It's
mistaken.
next week, I
Next
believe.
week,
Yep.
perfect.
Yep.
So I'm here to introduce myself. My name is Jason Lakow, and I appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself and be considered for an appointment to the DDA board for Delray Beach. I am a local small business owner and entrepreneur. Over the past decade, I've built and operated several hospitality businesses in Palm Beach County, including Tropical Smokehouse, which just opened in January of 2026 on Atlantic Avenue. My career has been spent creating jobs, navigating regulations, investing in commercial districts, and working through the real-world challenges that business owners face every day. What has always attracted me to Delray Beach is that it has something many communities struggle to create, a downtown with a genuine sense of place. People don't come here because it feels manufactured. They come because it feels authentic. The businesses, residents, visitors, and community organizations all contribute to that character. And I believe preserving and strengthening that identity is one of the DDA's most important responsibilities. Beyond my business experience, I care deeply about community involvement. I grew up in Palm Beach County. My wife and I are raising our son in Palm Beach County. Through my work, I've had the opportunity to collaborate with local nonprofits, first responders, churches, civic organizations, and municipal leaders. Those relationships have reinforced my belief that successful communities are built through partnership and service. If given the opportunity to join the Delray DDA board, I would bring the perspective of someone who has invested his own time, energy, and resources into building businesses and creating opportunities for others. I understand how decisions related to infrastructure, parking, events, marketing, public spaces, and redevelopment can impact both the businesses and the residents in a community. I also understand that the best outcomes come from listening, asking questions, and finding practical solutions that serve the broader community. Most importantly, I would approach this role with humility. That was the end of the sentence. I don't claim to have all the answers, but I'm eager to learn, contribute, and work collaboratively with fellow board members and city stakeholders to help ensure that Delray Beach remains one of the most vibrant and successful downtowns in Florida. I grew up in this county, I live here full-time, and I'm raising my family here. I'm committed to the continuity and preserving this wonderful city that we all share. Thank you for your time, your service to our community, and your consideration.
And thank you for Tropical Smokehouse. I enjoyed it a
Thank you.
lot. All my favorite restaurants are showing up tonight. This is great.
Gaining weight just sitting here.
Yeah, just
My son, Marjorie Waldo Arts Garage, my son graduated from college and we enjoyed Tropical Smokehouse food for his party. It was amazing. So good job. Anyway, so I want to represent Arts Garage and say hello to all of you illustrious, beautiful mayor, vice mayor, commissioners, city attorney, city manager when he's back, and city clerk. So thank you all for everything you do, especially for coming to our ribbon cutting. It meant the world to hear your kind words and to see you there celebrating with us. It was pretty amazing to have celebrated 15 years for Arts Garage. Nearly 300 people attended that night, and it was super exciting to have County Vice Mayor Woodward's proclamation read by her that evening. We've come a long way since I started 10 years ago, and I remember very different conversations, and it's wonderful, and I'm grateful for the time you've given us to thrive. In relation to our 15th, I'd like you to have a copy, and there's one for you, a copy of our 2025 annual report, so you can see some of our milestones. The board, our staff and volunteer team, and myself are full of gratitude to all of you for the ongoing support. I just have a couple of short updates. Very recently, within the last couple of weeks, Discover the Palm Beaches reported that they have welcomed a record 3.3 million visitors from January to March of 2026, which is a 9.4% increase from the same period last year. I'd like to think that Arts Garage is part of the reason we welcome them, that and our beautiful award-winning beaches. June and July, the dry summer months. Check us out. Tito Puente Jr., some jazz, Latin jazz, Guy Davis, blues, French Swing Collective, a Bob Marley tribute, the Motowners, and Moonflower, which is a Santana tribute. And that's just June and July. So come check us out and help us make it through the hot, steamy months of July and August. Thank you for everything you do, and thanks for showing up for us the other night.
thank you very much.
Marjorie, tonight I follow you. Good evening, Pamela Williams, 29574 is the zip code of record. I want to start off by first saying I've got the best mayor this week in the world. In the world. He's been very attentive to me when I call. He answers or calls back. As for most point, all of you are very attentive to we taxpayers, but Tammy in particular, everyone seems to get back to me, everybody, with the exception of Marker. He doesn't really communicate with me very much. But thank you all. Favorite mayor, move on. Now, I want to start off with all of the warm and fuzzies. I want to thank you all for the agreement approval of the 2.5% COLA increase for the retirees of Delray Beach for quite a while, and I'm one of the newer ones, but I just got the bigger mouth. For a while, we felt as if we have been forgotten about. It felt great to be included and to be acknowledged, and most ultimately for the increase. Now, I also want to give out accolades and thanks for the moving on of the Pompey Park project. I'm so ready for shovel to ground. You wouldn't even believe it. I am for a new concession stand, not a refurbished one, and I am not in favor of the competition size pool. I don't think the very near community would get the best usage and frequent usage out of that if we were to add that element. Now let's get to what I'm best known for, my complaints. I'll start it off good. I am happy to say that there is a young lady who attends the elders meeting and all other community meetings that she can make, Ms. Taisha Knight. She was recently promoted. I'm happy to see that from within we are promoting and acknowledging. I had my eyebrow up on this Martin dude when he couldn't seem to make it work with Dean Charles, but she had a better place now, and she's still with Delray, so I'll let him slide on that. Deputy Chief Frankel, thank you for standing there with the bullseye for your boss, Martin, but no, not a fan. Also, I also want to bring up the freebie. I love the usage of it until I'm able to afford my pimped out golf cart. I will continue utilizing that. I've had nothing but a great success with it. I'm in the main corridor of where they transport to and from, so I am getting a lot of usage out of it. I would love for you all to continue that and include to Trywell, because you're forcing me to get an Uber when I catch a 4 a.m. flight, trying to save $20. As well as that, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Thank you, favorite mayor this week.
Well, yeah, look, I know you can't rest on your laurels with you, so there you go.
I plead the fifth. Yvonne Odom, 33445, Mayor, Commissioners. I got 4 quick little things. First of all, concession stand. Those of us who use it, we don't want it torn down if you don't have a plan in place. Right now, it's serving our needs. We have toilets. We have ice. We have a press box. The elevator does not work, hasn't worked in years. But do not tear it down because you say you can demolish it, but no plan in place. So leave it alone. Maybe you could paint it or do something like that. But do not tear it down. It would have a disservice to those of us who's used it all these years. Fix it up, do the PA system, anything. Now, as far as the Olympic-sized pool, I was at every one of those meetings, and the public decided that's what they wanted. And to me, you should go back to the public and ask them what it is they like. That was not my thing. Baseball is our thing, so we want to make sure we kept the fields there that's been there forever. But the community meeting was held for those who use that park. And the people that facilitated those meetings they went out of their way to find out what the people wanted. That was one of the things they wanted. Also, they said this, and I always say that, this is the only building that they came to build that they already had programs. Usually a city build a building and then try to fill it up. Pompey has all of that you said is going out there. We want to just keep it there. The other thing I want to say about the nonprofits, I hear we're going to forgive some and not others. Either you forgive them all or forgive none of them. Right. Do not pick and choose. It's not fair. I just like being fair. And my other last thing, and I'll say this, and I'm all for, helping people who've fallen, but I'm on the side of prevention. Everybody know that because I use the vase and the vase analogy. When you protect somebody in the beginning by education, because I was educated. I didn't know about the disease concept of alcohol and drug abuse. But the more you educate people, and they may not fall into it, and then we may not have to spend millions of dollars to help them when we could have prevented in the first place. So my time is up. Thank you very much. I enjoy myself. You enjoy yours.
Good evening, Andrea Bruton, 3344445. Before I start, I just would like to take a moment to congratulate our Vice Mayor and our Police Chief on their Grammy Award performances at the play CSI Delray at St. John Church this past Saturday. Great work, you two. Well, my bad, it's on record
We have
now.
film at 11. So.
So, to the honorable members of the City Commission, from concerned residents and supporters of the said community. And before I start, and based on earlier comments, let me just remind you that we've already turned in, on record, a petition with over 120 residential signatures supporting the extension of the entertainment district west to I-95. So, we the people stand united in urging the City Commission to extend the boundaries of the city's entertainment district westward to I-95 to ensure equitable access to entertainment, cultural, resources, and economic opportunities for the set. One of Delray's most historic and culturally rich communities. For too long, the residents of the set have been excluded from the benefits of nightlife, live music, and cultural expression that are readily available east of Swinton. Selective enforcement of noise ordinances, largely based on complaints from individuals who knowingly moved into areas that has a history of restaurants and nightclubs and entertainment, and has unfairly silenced a community that has always been vibrant. We believe the redevelopment of the set includes economic opportunities that reflect the community's heritage and meet the needs of its residents. Noise concerns must be addressed with balance, not by erasing cultural expression, but by using the same metrics the current district uses creating downtown. Extending the entertainment district to I-95 will help create jobs, support local businesses, encourage tourism, and bring vibrant life to an area long overdue to revitalization. We call on the City Commission to take bold and fair action extending the entertainment district to I-95 as a part of the city's commitment to equity, redevelopment, and cultural inclusion. Let us dance, let us gather, let us thrive, just like every other part of this city. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Ridley. I live at 210 Northwest 2nd Avenue, Delray Beach. I'm here today to, first I thought the mayor was going to show up to my Get Your Green On event. Didn't see you.
I'm sorry?
On last Thursday, I had my Get Your Green On event.
Yes?
You say, Cynthia, I thought you was going to show up, at least for some coffee. Each one of you received a flyer.
So I'm not your favorite mayor this week. Okay, good.
You're going to always be, listen, you're going to always be my favorite mayor. Don't get it twisted. You're going to be my favorite mayor, but I'm just calling you out this time so you can continue to. Well, we had a great event at the Drug Abuse Foundation. We had over 120 people that attended this event. We were able to have Ms. Odom as one of our speakers for that day. And most of the people that was on the speakers, they were actually right here from Delray Beach. We had a great time. We spread information about mental health. We talked about drugs. We talked about everything in our breakout section. So I hope next year that you would think it important to at least show up, at least have a cup of coffee at your Get Your Green On event. So thank you. It was a wonderful event.
Did you know I was there last month with the Kiwanis? We visited the whole thing with your daughter running the place.
Mayor, we talk about Get Your Green On, not Kiwanis.
All right.
All I'm saying.
You know,
it ain't about Kiwanis today.
Your daughter invited us there. We all went. We had a very informative morning.
Okay, so it was at the elders table, not Kiwanis.
And the coffee was delicious, by the way.
Absolutely. I'm quite sure it will, but we brought our own. That's what we do at the elders table. So thank you for next year. I hope you add us to your list, commissioners. And do that for us because we want you there and see what's going on in our community. So thanks again. At Drug Abuse Foundation, you'll hear from me again, Mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a great day.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Benjamin Arsali, 33444. I'm going to keep it short because I just lost my voice. It felt like it's coming back. I'd like to be considered for the DDA position. I'm a property owner in the Downtown Development District. I was born and raised in the area. I went to middle school, high school here, undergraduate as well. My background is construction management. So if you all have any specific questions or anything, please let me know. I know it was originally going to be for this evening. Unfortunately, next week I'm going to be out of town, but I figured I'd introduce myself and my resume, everything is there. So thank you so much. And again, I apologize for...
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Would you repeat your name for the record?
It's Benjamin Arsali. Thank you, everyone.
Hi, Hillary Roach, the Colony Hotel. I just wanted to say thank you to the mayor and commissioners for acknowledging the importance of the Colony Hotel in Delray Beach. We very much appreciate it. I also wanted to give a call out to the governors of the Delray Beach Historical Society. Many of them were here tonight. They do an amazing job. They're a leader in historic preservation, and I wanted to thank them for the important work they do in the city. We'll have a 100-year celebration in the fall, and we'll hope you will join us. And in the meantime, stop by and say hello if you come by. I'm there all the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is Chuck Ridley. 33444. If there's something that we do not get right often enough, particularly from this commission, is that we allow ourselves to get in these binary kinds of positions on real important conversations that are nuanced. I'm going to mention two. One is, as a recovering addict for 36 years, whether it's better to go with prevention or the continuum. That's too nuanced to put it in those two categories. I do want to share with you that the opioid dollars are bared on the lives of my colleagues who lost the battle on the war against drugs. The second is on the development of West Atlantic Avenue. This cannot come down to whether it is about the residents that show up or whether we have business owners. That's too nuanced. Both are critically important. We have to talk through more than, is it a good idea for it to happen on Monday through Thursday and stop at 10 o'clock? Because I've seen businessmen who've lost their investment trying to make things happen on West Atlantic Avenue. And I don't want to hear about the homes that got built, because those homes, all but those that are in the Caruso's locations, was already there, and we had the Paradise. We had the Elks Club. We had Tropicana. We had Georgetown Tavern. We had all kind of nightlife, and we enjoyed it. Now ask us how often we go downtown, because we don't. That's too daggone high. And I wanted to say something else. I said, daggone, it is too expensive. And we do want a nightlife as adults. So do not put it in this binary kind of container. Lastly, if you want to get the best feedback from this community, you got good staff. CRA got good staff. You got good staff in your neighborhood improvement. But your best organizer sits right up there with you all. You want to find out what the community wants? Come to one of our burning conversations. Allow your colleague to call the meeting, and you'll get the information you want. Now, when you start getting information, don't start playing games of only wanting the information when you disagree with the messenger. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none? Public comment is closed. Okay, what do we have now? Oh, the approval of the consent agenda. Yes.
So moved.
I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. I have
Second.
a motion. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is approved. Great. Going now on to 7A.
7A,
If you could, I was going to say, if you kindly read the resolution.
Resolution number 81-26, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, authorizing the city manager to accept a one-time payment of $320,000 in lieu of providing 2 on-site workforce housing units for the project formerly known as Bliss on 4th, as more particularly described herein, providing for an effective date and further purposes.
Thank you very much. Anthea? Do you have a...
He's right behind you. Mr. Lynn? Yeah.
Mr. Lynn is coming up. Oh, there, I see you there.
Hold on a second,
Good
and
to
I'll
see you, Jeffrey.
enter
How are you?
the file.
Thank you.
Hold on. Oh, you guys, all of a sudden you went really fast. Hang on. Do you have it?
Also, we haven't been sworn in.
This is not
quasi-judicial.
Oh.
The next one is. This one is not.
Oh, okay, go.
Yeah.
You can swear at me, but...
That comes with the job.
Enter the
like,
file then
especially me,
either.
right?
Okay, that's fine. Then I don't need to enter the file either. I was with you. I thought, oops.
Yeah, no, I'll do whatever you want. So is it our presentation to make?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay, perfect. Hi, nice to meet some of the new faces. My name's Jeffrey Lynn from the Cohen Norris firm. We have offices in North Palm and Boca Raton. I'd like to introduce you to my client, Mr. Frank Belgiavini. Come up. And I'm just going to jump. Is this this will move it? Oh, perfect. Okay, so we're talking about a project that was before the commission, I think in 2023, and please correct me at any time. A different developer came forward and wanting to develop this spot, which is right next to the police station, right off Atlantic, right in the West Atlantic corridor. It's right behind that corner building. And the project as approved is this beautiful 4-story structure with 9 residential units and ground floor commercial. Mr. Belgiavini was not the original developer, bought the project. And as he got into the project and started looking at the economic metrics of it, it became an issue, and he'll explain his entire situation. But in short, we're before you this evening. The prior developer was able to take advantage of the workforce housing initiative to get more density on the site. I don't remember the actual site, but the site is entitled as of right for 3 dwelling units, and was able to get that to a higher dwelling unit, ultimately to 9 dwelling units, where there's 7 regular units and 2 workforce housing units. After Mr. Belgiavini came in and went through all the financials and whatever, realized it's just not cost effective in any way, shape, or form to build those 2 units, having nothing to do with workforce housing or residents. It just came down to actual being able to build this at this location as is. So we went forward and asked if we could pay the code fee rate, which is $160,000 per unit for 2 units. And we're before you this evening respectfully asking if you'll agree to that so this project can be built. I'd like to introduce again my client, Mr. Frank Belgiavini, who will explain his situation, and hopefully we can maybe get this project. We're this close to permits. We're on inches from permits right now. Frank, please.
Thank you. He pronounced my last name correctly, so I'm ready to go.
Your name for the record? Just
yes, Frank Belgiavini.
Belgiavini, okay.
I can spell it.
No, that's fine.
Okay. I purchased this property back in February of last year. From that time on till today, I started putting the plans out for bid to see what the financial issue was going to be with the project. And as it turned out, all in is an estimated cost of $900,000 to $1 million a unit. It took me a while to find out what the sales price would be for. I think one of them has to be low income and the other one has to be moderate income. The low income, I believe, was $208,000. The moderate income was 400 and plus, and I can't remember the exact number. So as you can see with the numbers, at a cost of roughly $1 million each, I can't spread the deficit for those 2 across the other 7 units. So that's where my dilemma is. My lenders, which I do have lenders involved, they want to know what is happening here tonight, because unless I'm able to do it at a market rate and pay the $160,000 per unit, which the $160,000 we can spread over the 9 units and financially that makes a project work and gives us a little bit of fluff if the construction goes past the 18 months and there's additional interest or additional costs with contingencies, that we have very low contingencies with construction and financial contingencies. From the beginning, when I got the plans, I started looking at them and I had to pay to bring them up to the 2023 code, because when they came in for the approvals on the 23, it was a prior code. So I had to redo the drawings for that. We did some changes to make it from a rental type design. I had to make it for a condominium type design where I redid all the kitchen layouts. It took us a good 8 to 9 months to get all the drawings changed. I hired a plan reviewer, expediter, and inspection company all in one, so that way it would take the burden off the town. And the plans for the permits are already in. I already paid half the permit fee to move ahead. But right now, unless I know that I can do this, I'm actually stuck. I can't. My lenders won't proceed with me.
Have you concluded your remarks?
Unless you have questions.
No, I'm just, now it's the city's turn.
Are you finished?
See
Okay.
if there's any questions.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
So now the city's presentation.
Yes, please.
Okay, so the way that the densities work in the downtown is that we're structured with a base density, and then we have incentives that can be offered. And right now, the only way to raise the density is through the workforce housing program. So here's the project site. It's zoned Central Business District in the West Atlantic neighborhood. It was approved June 13th, 2023 via Resolution 110-23. It was a 4-story mixed-use building with 1,000 square feet of retail on the ground floor. As part of that approval, which the board, when it comes to the commission via recommendation from a lower board, and you're doing a full evaluation of all of the performance standards for development of the site plan at the time. The approval increased the density from 12 units per acre, which would have been 3 units on the site, to 9. So they got 6 extra units, 4 that could be market rate, and 2 that had to be limited, in addition to the other 3 that were allowed by right. That is the project. We agree with that. So this incentive, as you can imagine, increased this potentially from, a 2-story or a 3-story building into a 4 to put those extra units in there, resulting in a project with 7 market rate units, 1 moderate and 1 low. Again, this is the incentive to encourage a variety of unit types and income ranges within the downtown area. Opportunities to increase density are offered in the CBD. This is the only way to increase density for the properties. So that's the math. And the income ranges are 80 to 120, 60 to 80. I have the rental sheet. I didn't know whether it was going to be condo or rental. Honestly, for a planning perspective, it doesn't matter. It's residential, and fair housing doesn't want you to worry too much about that. But so now the proposal is to utilize the $160,000 in lieu of payment, which this board has directed us to look at raising, considering that it is too low. Pretty recently. It was before Commissioner Malika, to be fair. So, and I do want to point out in terms of the due diligence, this is the approval letter that was sent to a different lawyer. Ms. Bachman was representing them, which says that the workforce housing covenant is due at the time of permit. So we don't do that at the entitlement stage. But when it comes in, basically the approval letter says that you use this and that you were equally required to do a low and a moderate income level. and that the workforce housing covenant needed to be recorded at the time of permit. So what do we do now? It is completely up to you in your sole discretion, because the way that the incentive works is that it's being reviewed and approved at the time of site plan review. At the time of site plan review, you're looking at all of the comprehensive plan and performance standards in the code and deciding whether or not to approve a project, including, performance standard 323G, which states that development shall provide a variety of housing types that accommodates the city's growing and social-economically diverse population to meet the goals, objectives, and the housing elements. So as part of that resolution that was approved, for example, that is one of the overall performance standards that were reviewed. So now you can decide to accept the payment in lieu of. You're not obligated to take the money in exchange for, instead of having 2 units. You can direct the developer to come up with another option, including create off-site. So like the Coda development that is on the south side, at the time they came in with the density, they worked with the trust and they built houses, physical off-site units. So it's payment, off-site, or on-site. That's ultimately the way this works. So if you approve what the developer has requested, all 9 units would be marketed at market rate units. $320,000 would go into the Housing Trust Fund, and the Neighborhood and Community Improvement Department uses that money to increase access to housing, workforce housing, and using other techniques like down payment assistance, some of the other programs that we have to improve housing for qualifying families. If you don't approve the request, then there are choices. They can record the restrictive covenant and move forward with 2 on-site workforce units for sale. That is the sale is then the buyers are qualified. They go through the Neighborhood and Community Improvement Department to prove they're qualified buyers, and it's tracked over time for affordability. They could do a site plan amendment and build a much smaller project with only 3 market rate rentals. They would have to do a site plan amendment to bring that back through. Or they could submit a different request to modify their proposal. So those are sort of the choices today. And that's it.
Okay. To the commission.
Do they have any counter? Or
Sorry?
Do they have anything to add? Or
Is there anything you'd like to add to the, any rebuttal or anything from the city?
I mean, technically, it's not quasi-judicial.
Oh, that's right, it's
Okay,
not
I just-
quasi-judicial, you made
I
your
didn't know.
presentation, that's correct.
Do you want me to go?
If you'd like to go, who would like to go first?
I'll go.
Okay, Commissioner Casella, you may go first.
Sure, thank you. So I met with Mr. Lynn and Mr. Belgiovanni. Did I say that correctly? Belgiovanni, pardon me, I apologize. Lovely gentleman, but as I had indicated in the meeting, I don't feel like we should be flexible on and take the money. First of all, the money will not amount to the amount of money that will provide us 2 units elsewhere. What I did suggest is that they do it off-site. I'd be willing to do that, but I don't exactly know how they could necessarily work that out, or drop it back down to the 3 units as you would get if you're not getting workforce. And I do feel for you. You're a lovely gentleman, and I think you're in an unfortunate situation, but we see this time and time again where people get an exception to our rule in exchange for something, and then later on things change. And it's not your fault. You weren't the original applicant, but I think we need to understand that exception was given to provide 2 units, and they're not going to be provided with a $320,000 payment. I'm sorry, gentlemen.
Okay, Commissioner Burns.
Sure. I am in agreement with that. The only reason that the property received that approval was to include those affordable units. And I just don't think that it's fair to put in 9 units and not include 2 affordable units there. So I would not be in favor of accepting the 320 for those units. And I would be amenable to an off-site units if possible, if they can work that out.
Thank you. Mr. Marker.
Yeah, echo that. I'm not in favor of this either, and I met with both gentlemen. I think they're both great, and I would hope that maybe you could rethink this and go back and modify plans and see if there's something else you can come back to us that would meet us where we need to be.
Did you want to comment, or do we? All right, well, we have consensus for three to deny, so do we need a motion to deny, or
So
have
it
you?
would be a motion to deny resolution number 8126.
Thing. What about the option of making one not at the low and making them both moderate?
So the
You can't do
request
that?
that came before you
Okay.
was to
You'd have to.
delete
Just
that. They would have to
asking
come back.
because,
I
you know,
understand, but I just,
Choice 3.
I think it's going to come back
Right.
with a different proposal.
right.
So, I have a motion. Yes?
So moved.
Second?
Yes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the resolution is denied.
Thank you,
Okay.
gentlemen.
7B.
Everyone for meeting with us. Thank you.
I'm sorry?
He said thank you for meeting.
For those who met with us, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
So this
7B.
one's.
Now this is a quasi judicial hearing, so let me read you the quasi judicial rules for those of you who have been waiting patiently. I'm trying to find where they are. Here we go.
Tons of them over here.
This is item 7B, and this is going to be on Resolution 9726. The hearing shall be conducted in accordance with quasi-judicial rules. The applicant and the city shall be allowed 15 minutes each to present their case. The public shall be allowed to speak for 3 minutes each, or a maximum of 6 minutes, if the person represents an organization or group of people who are present but agree not to speak. The city commission and staff and the applicant may be allowed to cross-examine a witness. The city or the applicant will be allowed to offer rebuttal testimony. The decision to approve or deny an application or appeal may not be legally made upon personal views as to whether a project is a good project or not, nor may a decision be based on the numbers of citizens who support or oppose a particular project. The law requires that all decisions must be made on the basis of whether the project meets the requirements of law, the comprehensive plan, and the land development regulations. Anybody wishing to speak on this item, if you could please stand and be sworn by the clerk.
Even if you just might speak, like it doesn't hurt. By the authority vested in me as a notary of the state of Florida, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you all very much. If the city could please enter the file record, project file number.
Hang on.
PZ 000-632-2026.
Thank you.
Can I read the caption?
Go ahead and read the caption.
Resolution number 9726, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, granting a waiver request of Section 433ZB6 of the Land Development Regulations, approving a waiver to allow a tattoo establishment to operate within 750 feet of another tattoo establishment for the property located at 271 Northeast 6th Avenue, as more particularly described herein, providing for an effective date and for other purposes.
Thank you very much. Do we have the project file? Is that,
I did.
That's it? That's it? We're considering that? Okay, I didn't know if you had a separate number, because it said that, not on my list here, so I don't know what I'm supposed to ask for. Since this is a quasi-judicial hearing, did anybody have any ex parte communications?
None for me.
No. No? No?
No, just drove by the site.
Yeah, if there was anything on the server, I'm going to include that, but otherwise I've had no direct communication with anyone. So, sir, your name?
Good evening, everybody. My
Zip
name
code
is
for the
Jeff.
record.
My name is Jeff Kozan. I own and operate Vatican Tattoo Studio on 2nd Avenue in Pineapple Grove. We're right next to the Coffee District. I'm sure many of you have seen us over the years. I'm a Palm Beach County native, born and raised.
I need your address for the record.
Oh,
though.
I'm sorry. 3309 155th.
No, the address, because, yeah, full address.
Full address of the studio or personal address?
It's either way.
Any address you want to give me is fine.
8809 155th Place North, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, 33418. It's
Perfect.
personal
Now,
address.
sir, continue, please.
My name's
Start.
Jeff Kozan. I own and operate Vatican Tattoo. We've been there for a little over 10 years. I'm a Palm Beach County native, born and raised, lived most of my life here in Delray Beach. I opened my first studio in 2007 in Fort Lauderdale with the dreams and aspirations of eventually opening here. And after quite the journey in 2016, going through the DDA, the CRA, the Pineapple Grove Board, and the then Commission, I finally had my studio approved downtown in late 2016. It's been a great 10 years. And the only reason for this waiver is because business is good, and I'm hoping to move to a new location that I think will better fit us and better suit us for the future. On top of just being kind of like your friendly neighborhood tattoo shop, we try to be a part of the neighborhood and be a part of Delray. For years, we've done the St. Patrick's Day Parade, the Delray Affair. We've had a booth many times. We've been at Atlantic Ave Magazine several times. I even had my face plastered on one of those banners in Pineapple Grove for years as the I Am Pineapple Grove initiative. We do plenty of charity work. We sponsor Cruise and Palooza every year. We did a Cruise Bogle Tattoo Day at our studio some years back to help him out. We give money every year to Chuck Halberg for the firefighters for Thanksgiving. Recently, we did a ukulele art show where we donated and we auctioned off ukuleles. We raised over $9,000 for a local charity that puts on surf camps with children with special needs. And most recently, our annual Toys for Tats event, we raised $2,500 in toys that we then gave directly to the Delray Beach Police Department to have given out here locally. So on top of just being a small business, we try to give back where we can. And again, 10 years ago when we were here, there was a lot of fear and concern of what would happen with tattoo shops and, being open. There goes the neighborhood, so to speak. So being downtown, I wanted to make sure that being the first one downtown, that we did everything right and we kept our nose to the ground. We were just a quiet business and we just did what we did. We made tattoos, we made people happy, and we didn't cause any negative impact to the community. There was a lot of fear of blight in the neighborhood or impacting property values and things like that. And we feel like, we've been a pretty good tenant there. We've been a good business downtown. We've tried to, prove that, we're just another small business just like anyone else. So the reason for this waiver is the location that we are trying to move to. The building is at 271 Northeast 6th Avenue. It's about almost 3 blocks north of Atlantic Ave, going northbound on Federal Highway. It's a building that I have been obsessed with for years. I like old stuff. I like old cars. I've got a 54 Chevy. I like old music. I like old architecture. And growing up here, seeing a lot of those old buildings kind of slowly diminish. This one, when it was refurbished in the late 90s, early 2000s, they kept that very neat mid-century Art Deco look to the building, and I've always been in love with it. So every time I drive by, I always point at it and say, that's eventually going to be my tattoo shop. And everything's kind of come to fruition. The planets have aligned, and the building is for lease. It's a little bit bigger than what we have now, so it's suitable for us to grow. It's got ample parking. I know that block has been a lot going on right now with parking issues. It's got plenty ample parking for our clients and for our artists, and it has federal highway frontage, which we don't have right now in Pineapple Grove. So the issue at hand being the LDRs that were put into effect back when we first opened. Again, stating that there was the fear and the concern of what would happen if there's a tattoo shop on every corner. Since we've opened up, there's been plenty of other shops that have opened up around town, one of them being located on 4th Avenue, which is a little bit outside of that 750-foot zone because of the train tracks. Again, we've cohabitated for many years now, being 2 blocks away from each other. And in the future, if we were to move from our studio on 2nd Avenue to 6th Avenue, we'll still be 2 blocks away. It's a little bit closer 2 blocks, but still going to be ample distance away from the other studio. P&Z will say that, show that the distance, so the rule was 750 feet as the crow flies, lot line to lot line. When they said to me the distance, I was a little bit off. I thought it was closer to about 500 or 600 feet. The lot line to the building of the studio on 4th Avenue, they actually own the property behind it. The property owners own the lot behind it, which is like a parking lot that faces Federal Highway, 5th Avenue. So it was a little bit deceiving on the distance. So technically lot line to lot line is 365. If we look at as the crow flies, maybe door to door, it's about 600 feet. But we have yet to get the ability to fly as a crow. If we were to walk it or drive it from one location to the other, if you were to go from their studio to ours, it's well over 1,000 feet walking distance. If you were to go from our proposed studio to theirs, we're closer to 1,500 feet. So I feel like there really is ample distance apart. And again, we have cohabitated 2 blocks away from each other for many years, and there's been no negative impact to the neighborhood. It's just kind of like a salon or a barber shop or a pizza shop. Just because there is the same service going on, there's a variable difference in services and styles and aesthetics and vibes of studios. Again, we like to kind of consider ourselves like the friendly neighborhood tattoo shop. We tattoo all walks of life. Tons of Delray firefighters and paramedics and police force, and some studios are more of like a private gallery kind of setting and very only appointments. We tattoo from the little stuff to the big stuff, you name it. Again, I feel like this is more than an ample distance apart. If we were looking to open up across the street or a block away or within visible distance of them, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have applied for this waiver. I wouldn't be asking. I wouldn't waste your time or mine. Again, I think this is more than reasonable ask. Another thing, a side note that I didn't put in the presentation is that the building of the studio that's located on 4th Avenue is currently for sale. So hypothetical, if for instance their building does sell here in the near future and you have a new property owner that decides they want to redevelop that building, there's a strong possibility that those guys are going to have to relocate. So, and if that was the case, there would be a non-issue here. I mean, the building we're looking at is in the CBD. We're not near a church or a school. The only thing that's really kind of standing in the way is those LDRs that were put into effect 10 years ago. And again, I do understand the concern and I understand why they were put into place, but I don't make things easy on myself. I always seem to kind of put up the fight to kind of get what I think is right. So again, we've had 10 years downtown. We've had a great reputation. Next year will be our 20-year anniversary of when I opened my studio in Lauderdale. So I would love to be able to celebrate our 20-year anniversary in this new building, and I ask you to approve this waiver.
Great. Thank you very much. To the city.
Okay, so these are, I would agree with the characterization that we do tend to pass new rules very cautiously to make sure that there isn't going to be a problem when we open up a new use. And so this is what happened with tattoo establishments. We were kind of unsure whether they would end up having a negative impact, and so they were very carefully regulated when they came in. So the proposed location is here, 271 Northeast 6th Avenue on the northbound Federal. This is the little building. You can see why the applicant is charmed by it. It's a small building in the commercial core on a small property. We do have separation requirements, and there are different separation requirements for tattoo establishments. The separation between the studios is as the crow flies. There's another separation to churches and schools, which is your walk route. So it was pretty heavily, regulated out of the gate. Let's put it that way. The LDR acknowledges that tattooing is an expressive art protected by the U.S. Constitution, other things like that. And the concern with regulating the frequency of them is to make sure that we are maintaining our family-friendly, historic beach resort community. All of that is in the lead-in as to what we're concerned about with these businesses. So this is the competing store or establishment, and I think it's important also to recognize that because it's lot line to lot line. Oh, I thought I had a thing. The actual establishment is here. This is a parking lot, so we're measuring it but a straight line this way. I think I have it in a slide in a minute, and that's closer than 750 feet. But if the issue with the regulation is to ensure that, we're not getting a cluster of them or we're having a whole block that turns into this district, you can understand that this property on the east side of the northbound Federal isn't even visible from this property where the establishment itself is located on Northeast 4th. So again, just the purpose of this is not to have them, clustering together in a way that starts to, I guess, establish some type of, it changes the character, let's put it that way, of downtown. So that's really what you're looking for with these requirements. Is the impact going to be that you're somehow changing the character? This is an established business that has been downtown for 10 years that is seeking to move. there are a lot of other rules related to this business that are not, being subject to this request. The only waiver that's being sought is this distance to be, there's a block in between the blocks that they're located on. And they will follow all the other rules. They're even limited with their hours of operations and things like that. So if you're considering the waiver, you have to look at two sets of findings. You see these a lot, but that allowing the waiver to have these specific, this specific distance and this configuration in the city where they're located, that it's not going to negatively affect the area, that it's not going to affect public facilities, create an unsafe situation, or grant a special privilege. And then because it's in the downtown, you also have to consider whether it's going to result in any kind of inferior pedestrian experience. Northeast 6 is a primary, so you're thinking it that way, but the building itself structurally, I think, is not, you don't have to worry about large expanses of blank walls. The waiver is not going to create a significant incompatibility with other uses. That's the thing you should be looking at with that too, or erode any connectivity or reduce the quality of civic open space. 3 and 4 don't apply at all to the request. So I'm going to go back to the distance here, and I think it's ended up behind it, but it's closer than 750 feet. So we measured it at, the current location is about 954. The proposed location is 366. If you were doing it door to door, it's even further. But again, the way that you would access this one from this one means you are going to walk up the sidewalk, cross the street, go over and down. So the perception of seeing the other establishment is the question of whether it's an issue with this type of configuration. And I'm here if you have any questions.
Great. Thank you very much. This is a portion of the meeting. It's a public hearing. Any members of the public wishing to address the commission on this application, please come to the lectern, give your name, address, and you each have 3 minutes.
Hi, Daniel Rose, 323 Northeast 6th Avenue, Delray Beach. I've never met this gentleman. I support him wholeheartedly. I found out about this because I got a letter letting me know what's going on, and it's welcoming to me. And talk about the agenda. So I was on the CRA when this issue came up because, as I said, he had to go through every committee. He's done everything right. He's followed the rules. He didn't just sign a lease move in and say, hey, I'm a few feet, because it's argumentative about the measurement. The reason I came today initially was because I wanted to show support for him. Not a customer, don't know him. Just the first time I've seen this guy. But when it comes to tattoos and art, I think the issue is in the last 10 years since I was on the CRA and this issue came up, I think society's attitude towards tattoos have changed. You can see recording artists, a lot of them movie actors. I even saw a lawyer from California the other day, a criminal lawyer has tattoos on his neck of scales of justice. So it's more acceptable to people. I think a lot of people like to do sleeves now to tell life stories, like The Rock. And I can tell you, from the wrestling side, I have clients that are pro wrestlers. Many years ago, tattoos were a deal breaker. You could not get a contract if you had a tattoo. Now, basically, if you go to any wrestling show, I think 90% of the talent, even female talent, have tattoos everywhere. So it's more culturally acceptable. So why I'm here, number one, is to support this project. I think it's great. I didn't even know the other tattoo shop existed by me. That's how quiet these are. They're just simple places. Because you have to understand, from the people I know that have tattoos, and that's a lot of them, is that it's like salons. They go to their stylist. So you're going to go see this guy directly, and he's going to work on your sleeve. It's going to take a few months, a few years. They come back and forth. So it's almost like how many, there's so many salons. I'm sure they're not 750 feet from each other. So the other reason I'm here is I'm hoping that after this, I'm hoping you decide to go with this, because I support it, and I'm sure everyone in my area is rooting for this guy, is that maybe we can review the LDR. Because here's the thing, he's less than 750 feet away. I can guarantee you, and I know tattoo artists, no one's going to open up across the street from him. This isn't like a vape shop where people go in and buy vapes, or a convenience store where everyone sells Celsius energy drinks or whatever. It's not like that. What we have here is he's really a destination location for people who most of his clientele, I can assure you, not even knowing him, or his customers throughout the years that are just continuously, let's say, building their sleeves or whatever they're working on, because you just don't do a whole tattoo project in one session. So I'm hoping, I'm excited to have a new neighbor. We've had a pizza shop in there. I think we had a soap store in there. Nothing's worked. So it'd be nice to have that little area next to that motel be a business that I know will be there for a long time based on what he said today, because like I said, I don't know him. So please consider supporting, and then please, on top of it, consider reviewing the regulations, because like I said, it's a little antiquated these days. I don't think anyone, I'm sure you know people that have tattoos at this point in your life. So that's why I'm here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, ma'am. Name and address for the record, please.
Nancy Reagan, 815 George Bush Boulevard, Delray 33483. I've been in Delray almost 30 years as a business owner. I've known Jeff probably 2015, right before he started having everything that was going on, getting approval. And at the time, he was doing a lot with trying to get us involved with the chamber and getting a lot of support. He is, from a business standpoint, very, very, as far as integrity, as far as doing what he says he's going to do. It's remarkable what he's done, and remarkable for the longevity. I guess you guys know most businesses don't last a year. So to be there for 10 years and to be where he is and operating an established, wonderful tattoo parlor, which is very similar to my spa kind of business, because now you guys let spas on every corner too. So if we had that rule, we might have less competition. But it actually is, I just want to say what a wonderful person he is as far as a company. And I know it's a little bit that you guys are giving a little leeway, but I think it's very well deserved. And where the other, if you drive by where the other place is, it's close to Delray Camera. And that is a whole nother area. You really have to go around to actually see that place. So,
Thank you very much. Are there any other members of the public wishing to speak? Seeing none, public comment is closed. Is there any rebuttal to the city? Does the city have any additional information or rebuttals? You do not. Okay, great. Then to the commission. Commissioner, you wish to be recognized. You do, yes.
Thank you very much. I would be in favor of granting this waiver.
You are in favor?
Oh my God, I made it rhyme.
There you go. That's good. Anyone else? Do we?
No, I am too. And just for the public, those rules, they do have a place. We use them in other instances, and they serve the city well. But in this case, I absolutely feel like you meet the findings, and I support this.
No, I'm in favor as well.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve resolution number 97-26.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Deputy Vice Mayor Markert?
Yes.
Commissioner Malika?
Yes.
Commissioner Cassell?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burns?
Yes.
Mayor Carney?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Not to add things to the list, but there's no way this could have ever looked like a cluster effect. When you go on 4th and you go there, just no way. So we should really look at. Yeah, well, that's why I'm saying to you, we have all talked about doing this, because I know you're not doing anything over at Development Services. You can just,
Your free time.
you got all that free time. Anyway, thank you very much, and good luck to you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm right. If I get 3 votes, I'm moving on. Well, then, Judge, speak.
You can't beat my rhyme, though.
Yeah. So now you're shy? Oh, you goodness.
She said you can't beat her rhyme.
Sorry. What?
Mayor?
Yes, go
Can I
ahead.
do 7C and 7D together since they're related?
Okay, yes, they are.
So 7C is resolution number 90-26, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, approving an impact event known as Muscle on the Beach Car Show to be held March 6, 2027 in and around the Old School Square campus, authorizing the city manager to take all actions necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution, providing an effective date and further purposes. And then resolution number 91-26, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, authorizing a special event sponsorship in an amount not to exceed $8,000 for the special event known as Muscle on the Beach Car Show to be held March 6, 2027, authorizing the city manager to take all actions necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution and providing for an effective date and for other purposes. Resolution number 90-26 would typically have gone on the consent agenda because they haven't made any changes to the footprint of the special event. The reason why it's on regular is because of 7D, which requires a discussion by the commission for the sponsorship.
I got it. Okay.
Good evening, Ally
Can we
Bierman,
just
special.
fast into the motion to approve this, though? We all
What?
know what this is. We do this every year. Can
Well,
we
I
just
mean,
fast into the motion to approve it?
Excuse me, would you like to?
I'm all in favor.
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Everybody,
Thing,
can
yeah.
I just make a motion to
Yeah,
approve
do them
resolution number
separately, but yes, go ahead.
90-26?
I mean, does anybody else? I just
No, they
think that.
No, I mean, I think we're all, we're
Okay,
good.
I'm
We
just
just
saying.
move right
He
along,
checked
so.
with them. Did we get a second on that?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Do you want me to do this?
No, I'll do it. I'm just waiting for you. I'm waiting for you to do it. So this is resolution 90-26. All in favor?
Correct. Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Fine.
Motion to approve resolution number 91-26.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
It is adopted.
Thank you.
Perfect. Moving on to 7E.
Good job.
Resolution number 103-26, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, establishing a budget financial review committee to review and provide recommendations to the City Commission concerning the city's budget, financial, and budgetary systems and procedures, technology improvements, and all other matters as may be directed by the City Commission, providing an effective date. I apologize, there is a typo in this resolution. Section 5, which discusses the number of members that would constitute a quorum. It should be 5 members because it's the committee would be comprised of 9 members, 7 by profession, 2 at large. So I initially had a 12, and then I was I made a change based on reviewing the record and Commissioner Malika confirming. So it should, when you approve this, if you could just prove it as amended, that would be helpful.
Okay.
Can I make a motion to approve?
Could
No,
I just?
Oh, y'all want to
Oh,
discuss
I'm
that?
sorry.
Oh,
No,
okay.
of course, because it's you, that's right. That's
Could I just add one thing? When I first started talking about this, I visualized it having a broader purview and potentially, eventually, maybe if you're doing an audit and you want some audit review. This really strictly limits to budget, and I think we should expand it a little bit more.
I can absolutely concur. I have several comments on it. If you want me to go through, I can go through my comments, because
Yeah.
I was pushing this, but.
Okay, we probably have mostly the same comments, so go ahead.
First of all, as originally contemplated when this committee was formed in the old days, the committee would task this, the commission would task them to say, could you look at this department, or look at this contract, or look at this and that? Wider than just looking at the budget. I'm not suggesting the budget's not important, but it was to give them some flexibility for the commission to kind of direct them to look at certain things to try to get done.
No, I understood. That's in there. I did put that in there.
Okay.
So if you look at section 2, subsection F, it states any other duties as may be directed by a majority of the city commission.
Okay, well, I know.
I can make it first.
But when you talk about whereas, you talk about establishing a society committee of professionals to review the city's budget, I'd like to also say and departments. Because I want the scope of this to be what we thought it was. And I'll be honest with you, I kind of racked my brain. I even went on ChatGPT, whatever the one with the AI thing, the kinds of people you want to have on these boards. No one actually asked for an insurance professional and investment advisor. I mean, I'm just curious how we came up with
Those
the
were
list.
those were on the original.
That's where we got.
No, I know, but we
We
talked
can
about
dig
it
them
then
out.
too. So
Yeah, I mean,
no, I know we can. I'm throwing it out there to the group, just for. I mean, I certainly understand why you want an MPA, you're sort of a accounting professional, finance professional. But whether we need a certified financial planner, I'm not sure that.
What about an attorney?
I don't know that we need.
one of each.
I mean, I think an attorney would be helpful, but I don't. I would take an attorney before I would take a certified financial planner, which doesn't seem to kind of. Not that
Because you have
just-
finance professional, so a financial planner could fall under that category. It's sort of like you have two.
Yeah, finance professional.
So-
If you decided you want it, yeah, I
So
agree.
why don't we leave financial professional?
An insurance professional, I guess, if you're going to be
And
looking
put-
at the various insurance programs and stuff, that would be helpful. But
I don't think that you need to think of, we have to fill each one of these positions. This is the background that we wish to have on the advisory committee. We can have 3 accounting professionals and 5 financial planners. I mean, it doesn't,
I'd
you
like
don't have one of
to try
each,
to cover.
right?
I'd like to try to cover one of each. I think you're going to need diversity.
Diversity's
for
the
this.
key for this.
Yeah. So I think that
Covering
should
as
be our
many
goal.
industries as possible.
And I think we should put maybe lawyer in there as well.
we can add lawyer, because understand this is just a list of for, it's like a
So
a
let's
list you
button
can
this
choose
up
from.
and
We're not
amend it so we
requiring,
can
none of these are
approve it as
requiring
amended.
that we have a certified public accountant, although we should.
So you're
And that-
taking out insurance and putting in attorney.
We're taking out.
Well, I would take it out, I would say certified financial planner and
And
take
putting
them
in
out.
attorney.
Because while that would be valuable when you're using in looking at your pension funds and things like that, in the management of those, on this kind of a project, I don't see where it would.
So we're
Should we narrow
scratching,
it down to municipal?
we're
attorney,
scratching
or
D
do
and
we-
putting lawyer in, is that right?
Do you want to qualify what kind of lawyer?
Yes, I think it's
Maybe qualify
business
what
or
kind of business
municipal.
attorney or-
I think.
I
mean, we don't
a
want
bus-
to.
Somebody with a business background, a business, a corporate.
Business or
corporate-
municipal?
Corporate type lawyer that would be, that would know
You gotta find.
what like contracting with looks like with people.
What about
Okay.
corporate attorney?
Perfect.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
So we're
fine.
scratching D and putting corporate.
So instead of
Scratching
certified
D.
financial planner, it'll say corporate attorney.
Right.
Yeah, but again, I'm just adding.
I had that too. So we're changing whereas, resolution number 5809.
I'm just trying to broaden that whereas clause to talk about the city, the whereas they
And then we're
desire
changing it to
and-
five members of
I'm
the
sorry,
committee.
just.
I'm sorry?
Slow down there.
One person.
One mic.
Mayor, what you wanted to add to the whereas clause about reviewing departments?
I just wanted to add to the scope, because I wanted to ensure that we know that the scope of the thing is not just to look at the departments, but city departments.
Okay. But you want that in the whereas? Because it's
Well,
listed in below.
I don't really see where it just says, it's
I
really,
just want to put it in there.
it just says recommendations.
Why don't I put it in section 2?
So, okay, put it in section
So
2,
it's a
that's fine.
task. It's an
Yeah, I
actual
just want
task.
to include the scope,
Review city departments. Got it.
that when we all kind of talked about it 100 years ago.
And maybe take budget out of the top and just have city system procedures, technology improvement, and then put the budget part in the bottom where it already is to alleviate the mayor's concern.
What was the concern?
Take the budget part out of the whereas and just have city systems, procedures, technology, etc. Because
What's
you
in
have
that?
city's
What's-
budget under
Yeah, but
A.
he's already got A, is to perform a review of the
Correct.
city's budget, so I don't know why we need.
So take out B.
Now, take it out at the top of whereas and just have review the city's
Take
systems.
the whereas clause out above it.
No,
We should-
the whereas clause stays. It says, whereas resolution number 5809 established a financial review board and tasked the same with reviewing the city's systems, procedures, technology improvements, making recommendations regarding revenues and other items, blah, blah, blah. Because down below you have budget, financial and
Yeah,
budgetary
they've repeated it,
systems,
right.
technology improvements, and you can put audits in there somehow if you want to use that term.
Okay, does anybody else have any suggestions?
And you're right, there's a coverall because it says any duties.
So are we going to adopt this now with the modification we just did?
I think we should, because this is the third rendition. But I'm sorry, back to the whereas clause. I mean, I'm just going to say, because the whereas clauses, they don't necessarily bind you. It's
Okay,
what's
leave
in the so I'll make sure that they're just making recommendations throughout the fiscal year for the commission.
That's fine, I just wanted to max the flexibility that the commission can direct them to do.
It's in there.
That's
Yep.
all I want.
Okay.
Right,
you got
because
it.
any other duties just sort of gets everything.
Motion to 10326
Okay,
as amended.
I need a motion then to approve resolution 103-26 as amended.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are finished.
So then, Mayor, the next step in the process is I'll amend this tomorrow, present it for your signature, that you're going to ask the city clerk, I'm assuming, to start advertising this committee. When would you like to see it back? Because we are in the budget process
Well,
right
I'll
now.
have it signed tomorrow. If you give it to, well, Noemio calls me first thing in the morning, says, yeah, I mean, it'll be done tomorrow.
Okay, so do you want this back in July with application? You want the applications open for 30 days?
I feel like we need to give it a little more time. We need to advertise it.
Yeah, the
It's brand
summertime
new
is,
board.
I always
So you
think.
want to wait till the fall?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
because
so.
realistically.
I would recommend waiting until the fall. The budget process is in swing. We have a workshop meeting. We'll talk about some various analysis and that whole bit. I see this as a fiscal year 2026, 2027 endeavor. And take your time to secure the right individuals to serve in this important
We're not
function.
going to get started until September anyway with this.
No, really the new fiscal year, because again, we'll think about staff resources and other alignment to make this a productive endeavor.
Okay, so we're fine.
Got
Okay?
it. Thank
We're
you.
adopted, fine, got the rules. Perfect. Okay, 7F, if the city.
Resolution number
Attorney's ready, yeah.
8726, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Delray Beach, Florida, to award an agreement to YC Group LLC for construction services related to the seawall replacement and repair project pursuant to invitation to bid construction ITBC number 2026-021 in the amount of $2,748,176.73.
Thank you very much. Ms. Barletta.
Good evening again, Mayor and Commissioners. Missy Barletto, Public Works Director, and my partner tonight is
Paul Narcissus, Chief Procurement Officer.
So normally this would be on the consent agenda, but we wanted to take this opportunity to give you a little bit of education about seawalls, our seawall ordinance, and where the city is in the process with complying with our ordinance. So the purpose of this project is to repair, replace various city-owned and maintained seawalls. We have just over a mile of seawall in the city, and a lot of those are very small end caps at roadways that lead down to the Intracoastal, where Parks and Recreation Department has made pocket parks and places for people to sit and relax and be able to take a look at the water. And a lot of those older seawalls are low and in poor condition, as you'll see later on in the presentation. So the importance of having seawalls in a proper state of repair and at a proper height is that we can put all of the stormwater pumping stations in the world out into the community, but if we cannot seal the outer edges of the system, we're just pumping water in a circle. It doesn't help to actually take water off of the individual properties. So that's the importance of having seawalls at a proper height. The ordinance that we adopted back in 21 is that we require seawalls to be at a minimum elevation of 4.2 NAVD 88. That is a measurement above sea level. That is not, it's 4.2 feet above the ground. It's a measurement above sea level. And then you can extend the height extension up to a minimum elevation of 5 feet NAVD 88. When we've done improvements at Veterans Park, which was really the first seawall improvement that we did, we put the seawall at 4.2, and then we have it designed so that should water levels continue to rise and there become an even greater problem at Veterans Park, it's designed to accept another 18 inches of concrete as a cap on top of what's there now, so that you don't have to rebuild the entire seawall in order to accommodate the higher water levels. So this map shows where all of the seawalls that are going to be constructed as a part of this project are. There are as many seawalls on the west side of the Intracoastal Waterway as there are on the east side. And they go all the way from the Mangrove Park boat ramp up to Island Drive. So it takes in a good distance of the city's waterfront along the Intracoastal Waterway.
Yeah, nobody can see it. I mean, they're
fuzzy.
No,
No, you are.
well, you are. That's not. But
Perfectly clear.
it also happens. Yeah,
There's a big screen right here.
we'll have carrots for you next time when you come out here.
It's been blurry all night.
Huh? It's been blurry all night.
Oh, it's blurry.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's so great.
I thought you were just, it was just too small.
I couldn't read Island Drive, Beach Drive. I mean, I know what they are, but the words are just not comprehensible. They're all.
Okay.
It's all right, we have this. Thank you.
Sorry.
It's not your.
All right, so this, you can probably read this one. This is exactly the locations that they're going to be done. Full or partial replacements are happening on Beach Drive, Waterway Lane, Lowry Street, Sea Spray Avenue, Basin Drive, Southeast 10th Street, which is where Knowles Park is, Mangrove Park, Southeast 3rd Street, Southeast 7th Street, and then there are 2 in Tropic Isle neighborhood that will be done in advance of the Tropic Isle neighborhood improvement project. Those that we're going to repair and enhance are those at Northeast 2nd Street, Northeast 5th Street, Island Drive, where we're working on the southwest abutment, which will complete that one that we started a few years ago, and Buceta, which is a larger seawall, and everybody knows that gets overtopped during king tide, as well as Northwest 4th Street, or Northeast 4th Street. So here's some pictures of what the existing conditions that we're going to be addressing are. You can see the spalling in the concrete. There's rust coming through. There are cracks on the seaward face and along the top of the seawall. So we'll be replacing piles that are severely deteriorated, cracked, and spalled, and also fixing the seawall caps. Here's an example of where the seawall is not at an appropriate height, and just on a regular sunny day, the intercoastal is overtopping the seawall. This is actually at Knowles Park, and there are, for the public who's listening in, it's very important not to plant trees very close to your seawall for a couple of reasons. In this particular instance, the roots are growing through the seawall and creating large cracks, but the trees will also tend to lean out over the top of the water and will threaten the integrity of the structure itself with toppling over if the tree gets to be too heavy and pushes it out. These are some of the things that our code division will visit you for and ask you to fix your seawalls. Do you want to? So I was going to let Paul do his first commission presentation to talk about the procurement procedure.
Oh, thank you, Missy. So, again, this project was done prior to me, but just going back and reviewing the steps for how the team worked very closely with Public Works, everything seemed pretty much buttoned up for your normal ITBC. So on February 23rd, it was issued. On the 8th, it came back with 3 bids, the lowest bid, and YC Group LLC submitted the lowest bid, and they were deemed responsive. The staff in general, I got to tell you, Missy and her team, she didn't pay me for this, do a fantastic job in working with our team and planning and ensuring that we always have the right procurement methods in place. So this was actually done very, very well.
So our recommendation is to award the construction contract to YC Group LLC in the base bid price of $2,748,000. I do this wrong every single time. $748,176.73, and not a penny more.
Thank you both very much. To the commission, any discussion? Commissioner Burns, would you like anything?
I have no discussion. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. Commissioner Malika?
Super excited.
Then
Let's
seeing
do
that, I
this.
could use a motion to approve.
Motion to approve resolution number 87-26.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is adopted. Great.
you.
7G is gone. Canceled. We now go on to comments and inquiries on non-agenda items. Mr. City Manager.
I yield at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney.
Good evening. I had sent an email last night little bit late. Basically providing just a roadmap on the Parks Bond issue. I do have interns that are starting tomorrow, and they're very excited. And as I've indicated, the part of their assignment will be to review all past meetings, agendas, minutes, to compile a list, and then my recommendation in the email last night was to secure an opinion from bond counsel based on all that information. And it's really twofold. More importantly, in my opinion, that opinion will give guidance to staff in order to ensure that the park bond monies are being properly expended. And so from my standpoint, and Mr. Mitat, he's not here, but he'll tell you, we battle back and forth about this all the time. So I feel if we have an opinion that says you can use it for this, you can't use it for this, I just think it'll just settle a lot of the dust and help us navigate those bonds. So I don't know if you had an opportunity to read it. You don't have to. If you didn't read it and you want to just defer this till next week, I would just want consensus from the commission that you think that's an appropriate course of action.
I haven't read it. So.
I do.
Okay, is that everybody agree? Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. If you-
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Fine.
Perfect.
Great.
All right, so we will
Anything
move forward
else?
with that. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner comments. Who would like to go first? Commissioner Casal?
Sure, I'll start. I don't know if you all received an email from a woman named Miss Hampton. Tony Durant reached out to me about the woman, and I spoke to Mr. Hajimari. She had a very large water bill, but it seems that someone, she has a walker. She didn't turn on the water. She thinks people working in her neighbor's yard turned it on and left it on. She also had some kind of incident, something was broken. So bottom line is she was basically told, we'll just get a letter and say it's a leak, but she didn't want to lie. So she's asking for some kind of consideration. I don't know what we offer. She's elderly. I'm not really into writing things off, as you well know, but she did file a police report for the incident because she felt that it was kind of like that, because she felt that it was, what's the word when someone goes in your yard and uses your things, like just stealing? No, it wasn't stealing. Anyway, I can't remember the word she used, but at any rate, I think it's something, Mr. Moore, perhaps could you look into if there was actually a police report and maybe reach back out to us? It's a pretty big bill, and she's a senior. But
How big is the bill?
I'm not familiar with this at all. I did not receive that.
it's over $1,000, I think.
It's a little bit over 1,000, close to 1,100.
Yeah.
It's either a break. If they're ruling out a break, then
I think they
something
ruled out a break, and they think it was because it's only 1 month. It's low
Right.
1 month, and then it pops up 1 month,
Right.
and then it goes down.
So what I'll do is, of course, Mr. Hajimari and I had a chance to touch base about this briefly. So I anticipate offering an update next week since it's being brought up here. I'll be happy to oblige.
Yeah, and then maybe we can figure out. I don't know. We talked about the 2 bridges, but you're going to keep us informed on that. I was speaking to our city attorney because Boca implemented lobbying certification and disclosure rules. I think we should do this here as well in Delray Beach. Basically, it's an ordinance that was established, a clear and consistent framework for disclosure of lobbying, participation in city's development review process. I think it would be a good idea for Delray Beach to have that.
So I thought we used to have a lobbying.
There's one for Palm Beach County. This is a little bit more specific.
Specific to our city.
I will email it to everybody, and we can discuss it on our
one-on-ones.
one-on-ones.
Lobbying used to register as a lobbyist.
I think it's through the county, though, isn't it?
No, when I did
Here?
it back in 2008, it was at Brian Schutt's office.
Is it stronger than what the county wrote?
Yes.
Yeah, the local one is much stronger.
I'm happy to send it to everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, please go ahead. I think it's a good idea.
Okay, thank you. Maybe you can send it out and then we can start working on that, if that's, everybody's saying it's a good idea. The police gala was great fun. Thank you, gentlemen. I really enjoyed myself. I want special recognition to Officer Adam Whiting, Sergeant Troy Bear, Lieutenant Eddie McCabe, and our very own Chief Rodney Stevenson. That was a really good night. And our next run with the chief is Saturday, June 27th at 8 a.m. 8, not 9. And also, I wanted to point out something to the residents that you said at that gala that really impressed me. Well, first, I love the skit about how when you first got in office, you were trying to pull retirees and anyone off the street to work for you. But also, at the conclusion, you said you are no longer hiring recruits. So presumably we are at where we need to be with recruits. I attribute that to you and all your efforts, and I want to thank you very much. And I think the residents should know that because people are still telling me we need more police. So thank you very much. Mr. Cannon got up and talked about this tax situation. Lynn, I think you emailed us at the beginning of the meeting, but I didn't get to go through that. But I got a document from the county, and according to this document, it's a spreadsheet. It says 8,350 residents in Delray qualify under the 250,000. Is there a way we can try to figure out what the ramifications might be of this to us broadly, to figure out where we're going with this?
$21,225,799, and that would have been based on last year's numbers.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Can you say that number? Would you say that again?
21. Here, take it.
Thank you. Do you mind?
21 million bucks. Just shy. That's what if it were imposed this year based on our last year's revenues, we'd have a $21 million less.
So,
That's
are
an
we
incredible number.
planning? Some cities have written in, and I feel like maybe we need to write to say we object to this. There's a form letter online. I can give it to you, and we can we get a consensus to do that?
I mean, I don't know the timing of it because both the
passed.
House and the Senate passed.
It already passed.
I still think we have to tell them we don't. I mean, I think it's just about making a statement, because I have to tell you, I don't know what we're doing with our budget going forward. I know this isn't going to affect us till potentially the following year, but at this point, then we need to bank cash.
Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, to
They're actually talking about
respond.
making the collections to be effective with tax like January 1. So it's coming up faster. It's coming up faster than you think.
Mr. Moore, I think we really need to do some research into the ramifications of this on our taxpayers.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm already ahead of you because next week's workshop meeting, which will focus on proposed budget scenarios, and the understanding is for the coming fiscal year 2026-2027, it would not be that impact in that regard. It would be the following.
Yeah.
So just to be clear in that regard, but number
Right,
two,
that's what I understood.
a more thorough presentation or an analysis in terms of what the impacts of Delray Beach will be offered as part of next week's budget workshop exercise. So
Excellent, thank you.
considerations for 2026-27, and we'll conclude it by talking a little bit about what this means for the city of Delray Beach. So we're working to get that squared away, and material will be available to you by this weekend.
Great.
Thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thank you.
Two more things, maybe, or three. Wayfinding signs. Someone informed me that they had spoken to you and that you indicated that we are lacking the funding to remove the old wayfinding signs. So in some instances, there's an old sign and a new sign. Is that the case?
It's a continuous process, so I'm
that
not
is the
sure
case.
who. Sure. So the initial funding was the implementation of the new wayfinding signage, and of course, over the next fiscal year, 2 fiscal years, we'll remove existing older ones,
We're
but
going to
some of them
leave
have been
old
removed.
signs with the new signs because we haven't put the money to remove them? That seems nutty to have 2 sets of signs, the old signs. It's not an attractive look where I'm seeing it.
We will be executing that, and we'll be bringing back details as part of the capital improvement program in terms of the rest of the continuation. So more to
I
come.
feel like maybe we need to look at a budget amendment on this one. Does no, she doesn't want to speak.
No.
It's fine. I think the quicker we remove the old signs that are basically sitting very close to the new signs, the better the city will look. That's my opinion on that one. And could you give us all an email update on subculture? Just shoot us an email and let us know what is going on. We are, 60 days into the 90. I have no idea where we're at, but
All my comments away.
I would kind of like to know where we're at. And the last thing, and this is uncomfortable and I'm sorry, but I think everybody saw this unfortunate article in the Sun Sentinel, an ethical caution flag for Delray Beach's mayor. As a city commission, we should ask for, I believe, a review of the ethics allegations involving our mayor, not as a judgment mayor, but as a commitment to our transparency and accountability to our taxpayers. If you acted appropriately, an independent review will restore public confidence, and I can tell you I'm getting a lot of calls and questions. And if concerns are identified, I think we deserve clear guidance as to how to move forward. Allegations involving any member of our commission affect the credibility of the entire governing body and the city as a whole, which is why I think it's very important that these matters are addressed openly professionally, and in the best interest of our Delray Beach residents, because we did take an oath to them. And I know I read the article, and I know you relied on a 2012 decision, but I have the decision, and it's nothing like what you actually did. It's a very different set of circumstances, and it very clearly says, as it concludes, you must take great care not to use your official position or title in any way to influence members of of staff or sitting advisory board, resulting in a special financial benefit to yourself, your outside business, your customers, your client, and it's your family. So I have concerns about this. The city has in the past been directed by the commission to request a Commission on Ethics review investigation. I don't like calling it that, but I'll call it review. And I think that this city commission should do that so we have a clear understanding if there was actually a violation here, which there appears to be, based on Rhonda Geiger's 3 prongs that she identified to us when she was here. And the 3 prongs are prohibited entity. It's a prohibited entity. Financial benefit. There was a financial benefit to your brother. And it's a special entity because it's a smaller group than 100. So I have serious concerns, and I hope my colleagues will support me in a recommendation for the city to ask for a review. Thank you.
Thank you. You finished? Okay. You have Ms. Malika?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's our position. It would be our position to review an opinion from the County Ethics Board if somebody opened that investigation up, but I'm not sure it's our position to command one.
No one asked for it, but why not get an opinion in advance?
Can we
He could have
without
done that,
interrupting,
and he didn't.
we can, no, please.
Right, if somebody, if an opinion is rendered, it would absolutely be our position to review it.
Did you review the 2012 opinion?
I did.
And so you think that supports what the mayor did?
I think that is not my position to decide. That would be the Commission on Ethics to decide.
Right, but someone has to report it. They don't just...
Go ahead.
So you'd like me to do that personally?
I'm not directing anything.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner?
Nobody told me nothing. I have no idea what you're talking about. So I would like to get a copy of the article, if you don't mind.
It's concerning.
Yes, I have no idea, so I need to get myself up to speed on that before I can make a decision. Thank you. And then the only other thing I wanted to say was congratulations to the police officers that were the awardees at the banquet. It was a great time. And then I wanted to express my condolences to the family of the employee that recently passed away recently passed away. So that is it.
Mr. Marker?
Yeah, one easy thing, one harder thing. Chief, I want to say congratulations on the gala as well. That was a really, really well done event. And I thought it was so cool that you brought back some of the former chiefs and the retirees. And I thought that was one of the classiest events I've been to in a long time. And it just shows the stewardship that you're lending to our police department. I'm very, very thankful for that. I think we took an oath up here, and I think we have to call for a professional evaluation on conduct. Otherwise, this is going to be a cloud hanging over our heads. I hope the evaluation comes back and it shows everything was A-OK. I don't know, but I think it's our duty to make sure that we're looking out for the folks that live in our city that voted for us and put us up here, and I think we have to get a professional evaluation. We're not in a position to do that. There are bodies that do that, and if it comes back with a green light, that's great. If it doesn't, we'll deal with that. But it's been in the newspaper. I've had dozens of calls, and I think the right thing to do to get the cloud out from under the commission up here is to get a professional evaluation done. So that's my position.
I have some comments. Let me finish all my comments. Everything is noted, but let me go to my comments here. First, I wanted to, I don't see members of we don't have the fire department here, but they started the junior lifeguard program. by the way, this past week. Tremendous success, tremendous success. So I want to congratulate the fire department and the chief and everybody who did it, the beach crew, for a program which is really great. And I was going to mention about the budget item, the issue that I have with us letting people buy off their requirement for low, for the housing, they get increased density, and all of a sudden, they buy off. I mean, 6 additional units is a lot of units, and $300,000 to be able to sell 6 additional units, I'll take that deal all day long. Right. I'll take that deal all day long. I think that you have one of the problems that we have, and I've had this chat with Anthea, is we have our follow-up, we have a really difficult time in following up to see whether or not someone is, and this is the flip side of it, why you take the money because 2 years from now you don't know whether they're really going to do it or not. We need to figure out a better way to have a continuing certification process that when we grant these increases in densities, that they're required to have 1 or 2, whatever the amount of preferred units, whether it's low income, moderate income, workforce, whatever the standard is, there needs to be some kind of a continuing certification process so that we know those units, at least for the first 10 years. That there's got to be reporting where, yes, they're still workforce, this stuff, because 2 years down the road, we don't know what these people are doing. And we just don't, because we have nothing in process to try to do that. So I'm
So I believe Neighborhood and Community Services does that.
You do, but I've had to see.
We've actually had situations where they've had to not go after, but really enforce the rules because people were trying to essentially get out of what the commission approved.
Yeah.
Ferline Mesidor was in charge of that, and so
I'd like to learn a little bit more about that program because because I'm hearing from people that I was given a specific situation with the person, and they 2 years later they sold the unit and it was at market, and there's always slippage, but
yes, and what happens if the property goes into foreclosure? Then we've seen it where somehow we don't find out about it because we have a right of first refusal. So that's actually very accurate.
So I think we just can't give away our workforce housing, and we really need to make sure that if we're giving someone 6 extra units, that they're at least complying with the toll charge to get to the extra units.
Can we have a discussion at some point about the value of it? You don't have to allow people to buy out. We can just take that out of the code, and they can either do on-site or off-site.
Right.
And then we can, provide options for the off-site, make a deal with the CRA, help the, community trust. So you don't have to have that number in there. I think we all agree that number is way too low. Yeah. You cannot build anything for $160,000. So you can either increase it if you want to maintain it. You can just remove the option if there's a concern that you don't want people buying out, because especially in this case tonight, there was a huge benefit received. I mean, to go from 3 to 9, and essentially that's a very large.
That's a 6 units is a.
It's double.
And you're talking selling $1 million a unit. That's $6 million. I got to
right.
Tell you, that's a.
So I think we should have that discussion at some point, because we keep talking about it, and it's either if you're, it might just be easier to just remove the option. And just,
I think we remove it.
And just have people either do off-site through the CRA or through one of our land trusts.
How would they do it? I just,
right.
want compliance.
So do you want to just have a discussion at some point?
Yeah,
yes?
I do. I think
I would like to discuss increasing it significantly or removing
we have to
it. I don't know what our parameters
almost even
are.
make it detrimental. You have no parameters.
Yeah,
we make it $1 million if you want
okay.
to.
We have to show the community that we're serious about that. If we're going to give an increase in density, that we're going to hold people's feet to the fire.
Agreed.
That's just a simple thing.
Well, you can make the number so high that it's not productive to go that
No one will
route,
take
and
it.
then either they don't ask for the density or they come up with something on-site or off-site. So
I'm going to bring something up. We haven't done this in Delray. This is my next comment. If you look at tax bills from other communities, Fort Lauderdale, I had briefly discussed this with Mr. Moore, and we have not as a discussion point, but just something I was thinking about. and he was aware of how they do it. It's called Municipal Services Tax Unit, MSTUs. And what they've done is, Boca has them, for example. Their Parks District is one, and then they have fire under one. And then, Fort Lauderdale has, if you go to their Fort Lauderdale tax bill, they got them all for different things. Because in Delray, we are accustomed to our community is accustomed to getting one tax bill, and it covers the chicken soup, everything in the bucket. So fire, police, Parks and Rec, everything. It's very difficult for the average taxpayer to understand what they're paying for each service.
Right.
If you did an MSTU, you do two things. First of all, because one of the threats that the governor did, which didn't make it this time, was that they were going to freeze, that municipalities could no longer lower the rates on certain industries. Public service was one of them. And that may be a good idea or a bad idea, but the point was, if it gets locked into the way we do our budget, we lose control of a lot of stuff. Where if we had an MSTU, people would know exactly what they're paying for police, for fire. You could do Parks and Rec if you want. You could choose the ones you want to do. Because then we look at our millage, and we have now control over our millage with our personnel costs and things such as that. Because right now, we don't have a lot of control over our own costs because we have so many that are already built into the system. So my point was to try and just explore it. I'm not saying, we don't have to do it now, but as we get into the system of how we want to start approaching our millage on a year-by-year basis,
right,
we're being trapped into raising things to cover costs that we have no control over.
If I may, I spoke to Mr. Dakowitz when he first came on board about this, because I think, and it has more function than just that, it also shows the residents. So when they look at
They know what they're paying.
They're like, this is how much our safety costs. This is how much
Right,
police
so
costs. This is how much our parks cost.
I would like
so they understand where their money's going and
Right,
how
I would like a
how it's
discussion
spread out.
about how to start looking
I'm
at
totally in favor of
broadening
that.
our tax bill so that our taxpayers know
Yeah,
how much they're paying for each item.
I think it's a great idea.
Very well.
All right, so that's
Can we
it.
just back up? Ms. Burns has now read that. I'd like a consensus on forwarding this to the Commission on Ethics. Ms. Malika has said no. Mr. Margaret, you're a yes?
Your comments are over.
No, my comments
Well, you've
aren't
got
over. I
plenty of
asked
time
for a
next week.
consensus.
You got plenty of time
She
next week. I
read
will
it.
be
You're not
answering-
going to have her answer? I'd like a consensus. I don't think it's unreasonable to ask
I
for
don't know.
that.
You're talking about this one? This committee where
The
it says
2012.
an appearance before an advisory board is not prohibited?
As you're the lawyer for the applicant, not the brother of the investor.
Excuse me.
There's a big difference.
Excuse me, yes, and I checked with that, and the difference is the
You did
personal
check with
gain.
who? I
The
asked if
personal
you.
gain.
Okay.
There's two other opinions.
Who gave you that? Are you saying the city attorney gave you an opinion?
I don't do things willy-nilly.
The two other opinions,
You have no
I have
idea
a
what my
copy of them,
relationship
and
with
one
that
of them
group
says
is.
absolutely you should not have done this.
Okay, well, I
That's
understand
right.
what your
And the
opinion
other
is.
one is
It's, you know,
Allison
You say
Turner.
I violate the Sunshine Law. You say I violate.
No,
Every week it's a new
let's just
accusation.
figure it out. No, that's not true, and you know it.
Why don't you file the report with
I'll-
the ethics team
I'd like
and
Ms.
get it
Burns
done?
to answer
No,
if
'cause
she
you want
wants to
cover.
do it.
You want cover.
No, I don't need cover. I'll file it, Mayor.
Good,
Ms.
file it.
Burns, but I would like her to answer. I asked for consensus. It's fair.
You are not prohibited with meeting, is this what it says? It says, in summary, based on the facts that you are not prohibited from representing a client or appearing
It's
before...
not your client, it's your brother.
Excuse me, when you read what it's for, it's personal
I read
benefit.
it.
Whether it's...
Why
By the
didn't
way,
you just go
representing-
get an opinion if you're so
Representing the client
confident?
means that I'm being paid. It's even a higher
Ms.
standard.
Burns, I don't want to go back and forth on this because
Good.
I'm
Why
not
don't we
I'm
just-
not an
well-
expert.
Do
I think
you
we need to
a
just
you need a commission consensus to do
No,
this?
just
Yes,
she's
she
going to
does.
file it. Let her
no,
file
to
it.
get the city to file it. I don't need to file it. The city should file it. It affects
Okay.
everybody.
This meeting's over.
We should know. You can't just adjourn the
I just
meeting.
did.
Wow.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.